gives me like 15% and they keep 85%. It's some crazy number like that of all the ad revenue. So they will make hundreds of millions, billions of dollars, and I will make pennies to that, less than pennies to that.
Yeah, I remember a lot of the guys that I dealt with, they were not the secure ones in the relationship. So that's not really something that I had in my mind as a thing. The Bamboo Project podcast starts in 3, 2.
Welcome to the Bamboo Project podcast, where you can see how we turn our life into a living. I want to start off today by giving a shout out to the Bamboo Project family. I appreciate everyone who tunes in every week. This may be your first, right? But for everyone else, this is episode 33. And if this is your first episode, you have a lot of catching up to do. So for all the people who are, you can move it up higher, who don't have a YouTube premium account and still want to listen to the podcast, the link for the audio will be in the description below. You can find this podcast on multiple streaming platforms such as Anchor, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Breaker, Radio Public, Castbox, Overcast, and Pocket Cast. We're working to get it on some couple other platforms. So also for everyone listening to this podcast and not watching it, we have a YouTube channel. What's it called? It's called The Bamboo Project, where we have almost 200 videos of cooking tutorials. We have over 200. Last time I checked, this 198.
We hit it.
Okay, so we got 200 plus or 200.
It might be 200.
We have 200 to 200 plus videos of us on a YouTube channel. Okay, we have cooking tutorials. We have travel lifestyle vlogs, which I think is kind of funny because we got a whole thing happened in Italy and Chicago, shit like that, whatever. We got tips on makeup. If you into that, you got hair growth for the females out there trying to get that real natural hair, show you love yourself. If you into basketball, we got basketball videos. And we have everything us on the Bamboo Project YouTube channel. If you want to see our day-to-day behind the scenes of how we make all this stuff happen, check us out on social media. My social media is DonivanGray, DonivanGray. And my beautiful girlfriend's Instagram is AnetaBurn, AnetaBurn. My Instagram and Twitter are the same thing. So we have multiple different projects for the Bamboo Project. Okay. So we have a food project. We have a music project. We have a clothing project. We have a fitness project. We have a sports project, and we have the Bamboo Project _podcast. Each project has their own Instagram, which you will be able to find in the description below. You can DM me to schedule a consultation. DM me on the podcast page, the Bamboo Project _podcast. And sometimes this podcast can run quite a while, but we're working on that. We've been getting it down to about an hour and a half. That's kind of the sweet spot. But even still, we want to keep you guys updated with what we used to do, so which is timestamps. What are timestamps? Okay, so here's what we do. For every time we make a podcast, we have the timestamps in the description, where I will put the time of something that happened in the video. Maybe you found the video on YouTube. Maybe you found the video on Twitter. Maybe you found it from a link somebody sent to you. Well, we're going to have the timestamps of every particular part of this video in the description below. This podcast has multiple segments, 4 to be exact. Okay. We have the life update, which is more or less pretty self-explanatory, which is where I give you an update of my life. We have episode playback, which is where I kind of rehash last week's episode, things I found when I listened to it again, or just things I kind of felt like I didn't really go over well enough the last week, or things that kind of, I guess, would be an update of something I said on last week's podcast. We have Donovan's questions, which is where I and my philosophical brain present to you a question that I just want you to hear it, think about it, answer it in your own head. If you want to, you can say it to me, give me an answer, or you can just keep it to yourself, ask your friends and family. And then we have today's topics. That is the 4th and final segment. Right now, it is 11:19. For those who know, who have been here for a minute, like I said, we getting there. 11:19 is a great time to start the podcast. Great time. And today is November 3rd, which is the day we are going to find out who will be the president of the United States of America. Okay, it's either going to be Trump or it's going to be Biden. All right. Ooh. ooh, I really don't care who the fuck is president, honestly. Today's agenda, we have one topic, and we might come up with something while we're talking about it, but it's security versus excitement. I also still want to kind of go into more of the rich slave, poor slave thing, so that might also be on today's agenda for the topics. So we are going to start off with my life update. I just want to say, I think that was phenomenal. I think the way I just handled that intro was godlike. That was like, ooh, I killed that shit. I had everything down. It was smooth. It was smooth. What do you think? It was smooth? It was fire? She gave me a thumbs up. That means that shit was fire. That's what she does when we have sex too. I'd be like, that shit was good. She'd be like, thumbs up. So, I listened to Joe Rogan's podcast. I believe his name was Tim Harris. I think that's his name. He was maybe the director or one of the people that came up with the idea for The Social Dilemma on Netflix. Great video, great documentary, whatever you want to call it. You should go watch that. It's great. Tristan Harris. Yeah, I think he used to work at Google, I believe. And he worked at Google and somewhere else, but pretty much his job was to more or less to get you to be addicted to social media. That was kind of their plan. I think addicted is a strong word, but this is kind of what they looked at it as. Their job was to make you want to use the platform more, but they were using your weaknesses to make you want to use it, as opposed to what would make you better. So pretty much like everything we have in the world right now is they were like, okay, how can we give you more sugar? And your body, if we can trick your brain to want more sugar and cocaine, you're going to want it. Not trick it. If we can give you more sugar and cocaine, we know your body will want to have that. But we all know that's not good for you. So that's kind of how they figured that they would use social media to make us want to use it more, as opposed to giving us things that our body actually needs and will make us better. They gave us things that our body wants. And, as we see what's going on with social media now and everything that's been happening recently, it really ain't shit. But one thing I want to bring up with social media is that, so there's a conspiracy, right? There's a guy named, David Icke, and he believes in reptiles. You can go look up his conspiracy theory yourself and see exactly what he talks about when he says about the reptiles running the world and stuff like that, right? Now, I have my own theory about this situation, okay? During the podcast that Joe Rogan did with Tim Harris, he asked him, like, what do you think the plan is? Joe Rogan feels like, okay, he thinks we're becoming better humans by being able to evolve into, I guess, bionic humans, where we have, not information, where we have technology built into us, right? Now, I think that is the wrong direction. I think that's stupid. But you can see how somebody can see that would be a good idea. You feel like, oh, okay, like with the Neuralink, you feel like, oh, well, my leg is broken, I could just put on a new leg. And even then, I feel like that's not even what they're really talking about. They're talking about more so on a what would you call on a neurological level, in a sense, where they want to actually put things in your brain to be able to do that. They want to be able to, replace your eyeballs with bionic eyes, things like that. Now, personally, I feel like we're going in the wrong direction. Yeah, it seems shiny and it seems like it makes sense, and the alternative is something that people probably never even think about. Okay, so I'm going to give you what I believe is the real thing that should be happening. Okay, so get ready for this. It's some conspiracy theory stuff. Make sure y'all sitting down and ready for this. It's going to get deep. Okay, I'm going to give you a little context of what I'm talking about, and I'm going to give you what I believe is going on. So the context is that there are reptiles who came here to who have, what is it called? Took over the world, more or less, right? But they're doing it from what they want the world to be like, and they're kind of doing it behind closed doors. We don't really see them, obviously, right? And they also feel like they operate in the fourth dimension, and the fourth dimension is it's a dimension that we can't see. It's right in front of us, but we can't see it, if that makes sense. Okay, like I said, it's getting kind of deep. I'm just giving you the context of how these things work. Now, the play is that they want to use us as an energy source for them. It's very similar to what you have seen if you watch The Matrix. It's Matrix 1, 2, and 3. 3 actually kind of goes into exactly what that would look like. Now, in The Matrix, like I said, the machines use our body to fuel them, similar to what I've heard as far as how the reptiles want to use our bodies. They feel like I think it's our emotions or our electricity that we produce in our body fuels them and whatever they want to do, right? So okay, that's the context of that, okay? Reptiles here, take over the world, need us to do so, to run their life, right? So my theory is that people have the ability to communicate to each other telepathically, right? We have the ability to feel and be empathetic, okay? Now, if you heard me say telepathically, you're probably like, oh, that's crazy. But if you think about it, when you talk to somebody, you can feel what they feel just by looking at them. You don't have to actually talk to them. You can just go, that person is hurting. You can see it in their eyes that person is hurting. You see that they're happy. You can see that they feel a certain way. They might be sad, or whatever the case might be. And modeling, they actually tell you to smile with your eyes. Now, the thing about that is, how is it possible that I, as a human being, can look at you and know what you're thinking without actually hearing what you're telling me, without actually hearing you tell me what you're thinking, right? So I believe that we have the ability to do that. Now, the problem is that we don't know how to do it. We've never really been taught how to do those things. So I think that with the reptiles, because a lot of times they talk about the people who are more or less reptiles, they don't have the empathy. They usually are is it not the psychopath? What's the word that we don't have any feelings?
When you don't have feelings?
Like, you just kind of empathy. Like, it starts with the A, I think.
I think psychopaths don't have emotions.
It's another word too, where it's like you're emotional almost. I can't think of the word that it is. I'm gonna let my producer try to find that. So pretty much you don't have the same empathy that somebody else would have, right? Damn, what is, yeah, look, Google what it mean, what word means to not have empathy. Apathetic. That's kind of close. So either way, that means that you don't feel the same way people feel, right? You kind of operate on a objective basis. So somebody can be hurting, you're like, well, it doesn't help me to get where I want to get to, so I don't really care. Now I believe that us having emotion is our superpower, right? I feel like us being able to communicate like that is our superpower. I feel like all of us are actually connected already without having to use social media, without having to use a telephone or a cell phone or things like that. I just think that we don't know how to do that. Okay, we never really been taught how to do that. So I think that when the reptiles got here, they were like, oh damn, we need to figure out a way that we need to figure out a way that we can, I guess, control all the people at one time, right? And they were making things externally to be able to do that, because they can't access the emotion or the empathy that we have to be able to connect with each other on a more or less telepathic basis. So they made things like social media, made things like cell phones, they made things like anything that we use currently to connect us without actually anything that we can buy to connect us are things that I believe were made because the reptiles don't actually have the ability to empathize with other people like that. I know this sounds kind of convoluted, but trying to follow me here, okay? So I'm gonna bring it back to the social dilemma situation. So when it comes to what is it called? Oh, right. So like I said, when it comes to empathy, I think that we have the ability to do what social media does without actually needing a computer to do so. Okay, I think that if we had trained for it, or maybe back in the day, I was able to communicate with somebody across wherever. The same way animals do. Most animals don't talk. A lot of them communicate without ever speaking to each other. Cats communicate and they don't talk. Honestly, if you don't know this, cats only meow because that's how they communicate with other human beings. They don't, because they feel like they're trying to make the sounds that humans make, and it comes out as a meow, but they don't actually communicate to each other like that. So how is it that they talk? How is it that they communicate with each other? Okay, it's probably similar in terms of body language or things like that, where we can just talk to somebody, communicate with them without actually having to use words. Cats don't call people and things like that. I feel like same thing with ants. I feel like we have the same situation set up like that, but somebody has kind of put a barrier between what we're able to do, and they tried to manufacture it. So that's why they introduced social media. So now I can like see what my friend is doing and see what my friend is feeling on the computer, as opposed to being able to just feel like, oh, I know I can tell my friend is upset. You hear this thing with twins all the time. Now, I don't think that it's uncommon. It's not uncommon for people who are twins to say, I know that my twin is feeling something wrong. How is that? Now, how can you explain that? How is it possible that two people who were born in the same womb, who are nowhere near each other, can sense that something is wrong? Now, you can't really identify the feeling. You can't communicate properly because you don't have a train that. Nobody's ever told you that you could. But why is it that twins always say, yeah, I know something's wrong with my cousin. I mean, my sister or my brother. I know that they're sad. I know something's going on. I'm going to call them. And something is happening. Okay? I really think that it comes down to probably meditation or things like that. I don't actually know how to do it. But another reason why I believe this is people have talked to me about doing drugs. And I personally don't do drugs because I feel like it kind of separates me from the ability that I already have. And it kind of gives me a false belief of me being able to do things that I should be able to do. So if somebody gives me a cell phone to call somebody and I'm like, oh my God, I can call somebody who's 10 miles away. That's crazy. If I don't know how to do that by myself, of course I'm going to think that this thing is amazing. But if somebody comes to me and goes, Donovan, you can do that without having to buy a cell phone. I would absolutely do it without buying a cell phone, but I don't know how to do that. Nobody has taught us that. I think there are certain people who know these kind of things. Same thing with as far as doing mushrooms and weed and other things like that. I feel like an ecstasy and all types of drugs that make you kind of open up, I guess, your brain or your mind and things like that. So I think that once we work on that, and I also think meditation is a big key to that. You have to know how you're feeling. Another thing that social media does is it kind of triggers you to feel a certain kind of way. And if you aren't in tune with how you feel yourself, you can easily get overwhelmed or you can easily get persuaded by something else like social media. So I kind of base my decisions off of partly of what I'm feeling. So if I'll be on social media and I'm scrolling, the minute that I feel like, okay, boom, I felt upset about something, I'm like, okay, that's social media trying to get me upset. Because if you watch The Social Dilemma, it'll tell you that they will post or send you posts that they feel you will engage with, and it's less likely that you will engage with a post that is happy. It's less likely that you'll engage with a post that you agree with. If you believe that, let me think of something that two people might have a belief in. Let's use politics, for example. You may feel like Trump is the greatest. You might think he's the worst president of all time, right? So they're going to send you posts of people who don't think that, right? They want you to get upset because you're going to engage with the people that you're upset with. You're going to want to argue with them. You're going to want to be like, oh no, that's crazy. I can't believe this bullshit. You might send it to your friend. Can you believe this person said that? Yo, he's bugging. I can't believe they said that, because that's engagement. The algorithm or the system does not know, okay, this is good or bad for you. All it knows is that when I send you this thing, you engage with it. I don't care if it's good or bad. I need you to stay on the website and engage with it. So if you are able to understand how you feel, then you're able to go, okay, I know that this is not how I feel. Somebody else is trying to persuade me to do this. I actually have this talk with Melissa two certain times where I'm like, if you're talking to a guy, and this goes with girls who are getting negged by guys, it's a feeling that you have that you know that something is a neg. So if a guy's talking to you, he'll say something like, oh, damn, I think you're cute, but, you have big ass teeth. And it's like, you feel it and you may not respond to it, but you feel that thing and you're like, what did I just feel? But you ignore it. The more that you ignore it, the less likely that you are to be able to identify it. The more that you identify it, the easier it becomes to go, okay, I can see what's going on. And then you can see that same feeling happening in other places. Same thing when it comes to buying at a restaurant. If I go to a restaurant or a store and I feel like somebody's pressuring me to buy something, I'm like, okay, you're trying to sell me this, not because it's a good thing for me, but because it's good for you. And I can feel that. You don't have to tell me. I just know it. But people do two things. They either, one, don't identify because they've practiced or they taught themselves not to identify it, or they just ignore it. They're like, oh, well, I'm just going to, okay, well, I'll buy it. And they get pressured into doing something or persuaded into doing something that they don't want to do anyways. And like I said, I feel like once you become more in touch with how you feel and what makes you feel a certain kind of way, you don't get persuaded by social media and other things like that as easily, especially in other opinions. So in A Social Dilemma, the guy was talking about what's the future of human beings. This is Joe Rogan, because he feels like we're supposed to be attached to that. We're supposed to be a part of technology. And I feel like that's the opposite direction we should be going in. I feel like we should be going in a way of what is more spiritual. What is more, how do I connect with you without having to have a cell phone? Because a lot of people talk about this too. a lot of people will say when I'm not around myself, when I feel so much better, people go, even he talked about it too on the podcast. They go into the forest and they're like, what the like I just feel so much better. I feel so much more free. Like this just feels good. Why is it that when I leave all these things alone, I feel better? When I have them, I think I need them. It's a very weird thing that goes on. So like I said, I just think, and that's part of my journey too, is to be able to become more in touch with what I'm feeling and how I am. Just kind of be able to access more of what my body's able to do. Those kind of things. So yeah. Oh my, it had to be itching me crazy. When you twist my hair? You say you don't know? I think it was last week. Oh, okay. So yeah, and like I said, social media is a really bad place. It's kind of weird because of the nature of it. Which is why I put out content the way I do. I feel like at least if I'm going to be on it, I'm going to try and change it and put out the content I think that needs to be out there. Because social media prefers people who talk without thinking, right? So what that means is you don't really want to hear a person that is trying to process a thought. You want somebody to come on and be like, this person is bad. They're fucked up. They shouldn't do this. I can't believe they did that. Fuck them, or fuck everybody else. That's what you want. You want somebody to come on here with definitive thoughts and not actually process anything that they're thinking about. The more somebody processes it, the more you don't want to watch it. So that social media and that's why TikTok I think is doing so well, because it's like quick. Everything just happens. It goes up, it comes down. It goes up, it comes down. There's no real processing of what you're looking at. It's just quick bites of excitement and bites of dopamine. So like I said, and even doing a podcast, I can tell when if I'm thinking about something, it's not going to be as engaging as if I'm just kind of ranting. It's not going to be the same thing. But like I said, I put things out because I want people to see both sides. I want people to be able to see, okay, sometimes you have to process your thoughts, and sometimes you just rant what you're thinking about. And like I said, I know which one will do better, but I'm going to put them both out there and you can choose to do with it what you want. But I feel like a lot of people don't choose to put out both sides of whatever they're going through. So, and another thing too, as far as, what is it called? You guys remember my neighbor, right? If you don't, there's a couple episodes. I don't know how many it is back. Maybe I'll put it in the description or in the video. So I was throwing out the garbage the other day, right? And I'm coming back and I see him stand in front of his door. And I'm like, damn, it's him. I wasn't sure if it was him, but I was like, nah, it's definitely him. But he looked kind of disheveled. I'm like, bro, what's good with him? So I'm like, he's kind of like fidgeting like he has to pee, but he wasn't going inside of his house. And he didn't notice I was there. He was just kind of fidgeting in front of the door. So I thought that was kind of weird that he was doing that. And it's almost like he was locked out of his apartment. I don't know what was going on. So I'm walking down the hall. I'm like, hey, what's going on, man? He's like, hey, what's up? He's fidgeting like he has to pee. He's like, oh, what's going on? What's going on? I'm like, yeah, I'm good. He goes, hey, man, can I ask you a favor? I'm like, oh, shit. I'm like, here we go again, right? But, this is part of my life. It's something that I do. Almost got raped one time going to a guy's house without, verifying what I was going there for. So this is a trend in my life. I said one day, if I haven't already tell that story, I will one day tell that story. And I feel like I did tell it on a podcast once. You don't think so? Huh? You got close to it. Okay. Yeah. So I'm like, yeah, man, what do you need? What's going on? I'm a very helpful person. It's one of my my toxic traits, right? One of my weak points. I like to help people out. So this guy is like, hey, I'm gonna be out of town. Can you watch my cats? I'm like, sure. He's like, yeah, man, can you just like come over and like feed them and change the litter box? I'm like, yeah, I guess I could do that. He's like, yeah, okay. You gotta feed them once a day, and then you gotta change the litter box every 3 days. I think he said, which sounds crazy, but it's not. I don't know. I've done worse with my mom's house with my cat. So he said, so yeah, I'm like, yeah, I could do that. He's like, yeah, man. I'm like, when you gonna be leaving? He's like, yeah, I'm gonna be leaving like November, mid-November. Be going for like 3 weeks. I'm like, all right. He's like, yeah, I can pay you, whatever a reasonable amount. He kept saying reasonable amount, which leads me to believe he's trying to pay a low amount. But I'm like, yeah, we'll see what the price is. Because I'm like, and I gave him my number to text me to see what's going to happen. Now, I think I'm starting to get an understanding more of why the PS4 was here in the house. Because the people who would rob him probably had access to his apartment, which was like that guy that was there last time. So that's probably something that's very valuable to him is his PS4. He probably doesn't have a lot of stuff that they would steal. And they're not gonna, even though that freaking cat thing costs $800, they're not gonna steal that. They'll take a PS4. You could sell that on Craigslist for $200, some shit like that. So that's probably why he left that in here, which I thought again was still weird. But yeah, so I'm like, yeah, I can watch a cat for you. So, we're going to see what happens with that. We're going to see if that somehow turns into some crazy ass story. I go into his house, there's a dead body in there, some shit, there's crack pipes and needles on the floor. Who knows? Maybe he's a very good, wholesome guy and he just had to pee when I saw him and he just be going through some things sometimes. Things happen. Sometimes you have random white guys in your apartment with tank tops on and oversized pants who want to fight you and steal your phone. Everybody goes through that. I haven't, but I'm pretty sure that everybody at one time has gone through something similar to that. The Bamboo Project Sports, we've been going real hard with that over the last. This is gonna be the 4th week coming up. We've been posting videos on YouTube. I've been getting better, getting back in shape. The first week I looked really bad. Last week was a lot better. The only problem was that I feel like the floor was very slippery, so I'm gonna need them to kind of get that checked out. But if you want to see me play basketball, see if I got any game, you can go out and check that out on the Bamboo Project Sports. While I was there, somebody named Maurice, probably put his Instagram up. His Instagram is, what is his Instagram? His Instagram is Soul JARIVERS 25. So he put up a mixtape. No, he asked for a mixtape. So I made him a mixtape. I was like, because I wanted to start doing it anyways. And he wanted one just, I guess, for himself. Because I asked him if he still plays ball in high school and whatnot. He said, nah, he's 24. He's out of that game. So I'm like, all right, cool, bet. I'll make you one. So I made him one. And then after I made it for him, Adriel, what I told you from last week, posted it on his page. He wanted one for himself. He offered to pay me. I'm like, I can do it on Friday. And he's like, can you do it tonight? I'm like, fam, no. Like, what? And he's like, I'll pay you. I'm like, listen, I can do it. I have it done by Wednesday if you pay me this amount. Because it was $55. I'm like, I'm not about to be freaking doing, I'm not going to do this. First of all, it takes a couple hours. So what's it going to do that at 9 o'clock at night? And today's the podcast. I'm like, you know what? I can do it on Wednesday. I can do that. Take care of it. I got you. So like I said, we going up. And I'm going to make some more highlight tapes. If somebody wants to pay for them, that's cool. Some of them will be free. If you want to be specific to what you want, obviously you'd have to pay for it. But like I said, I'm having fun. This is enjoyable. I like making videos about basketball. So I'm going to make a bunch more of those. My mom is running for councilwoman in the Bronx. Melissa was able to go out with her on what would you call it? A campaigning, I guess. Yeah, I guess my mom was campaigning in the Bronx. Melissa went out there. She really enjoyed herself. My mom is running for councilwoman in the District 12, which is the Bronx, where I used to live at. Because the guy that's there now, I believe he was harassing some woman and he got fired. So it's a special election because now, since he's let go, they need somebody to fill the role until the next actual election, which I believe is next year. So I think that's cool. This is our second time running. I think she has a better chance of winning this time than last time. And I don't know if that Ingalls guy was there. Do you know if there's a guy named Ingalls? Did she talk to you about that? Because I don't know if she's running for the same position that she did last time. But there was a guy named Joe Ingalls who was there for 20 something years. And it's crazy because, like I said, people need to vote for these people. He's been there for 20 something years and I've never even heard of him. I don't know anything about him. He's a white guy that lives up in Yonkers or in the whiter area. Like I said, he's been making decisions for people that he is not for people he doesn't know. Like, he's from that area. He's from an area that the majority of people don't live in. And he's been there for 20 something years. So you can already know he's not going to be making choices that help us out and the black people that live in that area. It's not going to happen. Like I said, vote for those people. Those are the ones that are important to vote for. What else was I thinking about? And like, I think today we woke up today's a pretty good day. Woke up early, like 7:30-ish, 8 o'clock. Be able to eat breakfast. A pretty sad breakfast that I made today was not one of my better days. The fruit was not looking, it was not hitting Now, okay, this is another thing too, right? For everybody listening, Melissa is a Jamaican woman, okay? Now, this woman likes to eat the head off of fish, the eyeballs out of goats, the intestines from pigs, where the shit is at, and she has the unmitigated gall, the audacity to complain that there are leaves on the strawberry. Donovan, you got leaf? I can't eat it. I'm like, Melissa, what are you talking about? There's a leaf on it. So she calls them lids. There's lids on the strawberries. I'm like, Melissa, you're not gonna complain to me about eating this fucking thing when you be eating the wildest shit. Chicken foot. She be eating goat head, all of that. And then now when I get the leaf on her strawberry, which is more or less edible, she's like, nah, I can't eat that because that's crazy. So where's the game? So I don't fucking, this shit don't sound crazy later. Yeah, so I'm just like, Melissa, you're not that ass, right? So she didn't want to eat none of the fruit this morning, right? But like I said, I didn't eat them either because today, I'm not gonna lie, shit was not looking appetizing to me. Like I wouldn't even post a picture of that shit because that shit was not hitting at all. So actually, I'm gonna take a picture of it. I'm gonna post a picture of the food, of how it looked. Because like I said, today was not the day. It didn't look good. There was an apple that was not. It wasn't spoiled, but it was in the fridge, and I put it in the fridge like a week ago, right? But
it was an apple from a week ago.
But that doesn't. No. I never peeled it. So I never cut it. Same apple, but I can tell that it was not as fresh as the other apples. I don't know why. I never peeled it, but maybe I left it out. I don't know. Either way, it was turning brown when I finally peeled it. It was starting to turn brown. So I'm like, But I'm like, it's an apple. It's oxidizing. Whatever. You just eat it. It's not gonna kill you. So I cut those up. Shit looking sorry, right? I'm like, Now going forward, I will core the apples because I haven't cored them. So I'm gonna take out the middle with the seeds because I was just cutting them shits in half and just putting them in the food. And I feel like I know that apples have unhealthy. I think the seeds are very unhealthy for you. I think you shouldn't eat those. I think you could die if you eat apple seeds. So that's what I was told, and I said that in a movie or a cartoon. So I'm like, damn, that's crazy. That I left it in there. The strawberries were starting to get kind of old. Not old. They were starting to like get soft. Because I don't know, strawberries just be going fucking fast. Maybe it's the organic ones. I don't know. It just lasts like 5 days. After the 5 days, if you don't eat all 29 strawberries, they're gonna be spoiled. And then the blueberries at the bottom, which I didn't really get to because I couldn't get through the top layers of bullshit that I put on there. And then I tried to season the amaranth porridge, and that shit was not hitting either. It was just like it was a very sorry breakfast. But I woke up early enough to make that sorry breakfast and eat it before the podcast, and that is a win for me. So, like I said, the reason I'm bringing this up is because, like I said, I'm trying to get up. I had some things backlogged on my to-do list, or for I guess chores list, whatever you want to call it. For like 2 weeks, maybe like a couple of things that just felt like I need to get them cleared off of my list because I have new things that I need to get done, like getting new contracts, which I haven't been able to. All of last week, I didn't really look for any contracts. I'm trying to figure out how to get out of the situation I'm in right now with this contract. And funny enough, I contacted that lady, the broker agent yesterday, and I don't know if I'm gonna lose my $1,000. She didn't call me or text me, and I called her last night, and it's already 12 o'clock, and she didn't contact me. So I'm thinking about texting her. I called her. I did my job. I'm thinking about texting her and being like, listen, that price is not going to work for me. Based on the comps that you sent me, it's not going to work. So that's something I have to do. So there's that. So like I said, but I haven't really been able to get I haven't looked for any other deals because I've been so hell-bent on trying to figure out what I'm going to do with that one in itself. Because I'm not trying to lose my $1,000 that I borrowed from my sister. I'm just trying to figure that out. But like I said, I'm getting things done. I'm checking a lot of things off in the morning. I feel like the earlier I get up, the more I can get done. And then the more time I have in the future, because I kind of felt like things were not, I wouldn't call it overwhelming, but it was a lot of things I just felt like were piling up. And I'm like, fuck, I got to do this. I got to do that. I got to do this. So was it the last 2 days more so, 2 or 3 days, I kind of sat down and just like knocked everything off. Like, okay, I got to like take the couch on the roof or the what do you call this? What would you call that part? The cover of the couch on the roof. And take off the fur of it. I had to vacuum that. Then I had to post highlights. I had to do things for the YouTube and I had to do things for the Bamboo Project. And then I had to do things for my personal self, like, bank related things. Just things that I just had to get checked off the list that I finally got done. Remember, just make a small list. Get things done. It helps with your life. It helps make things a lot easier. And it makes you feel good too. But yeah, so that is all for my life update. Yeah, and it's like I felt like last week I didn't get a lot of stuff done because I was so focused on this freaking deal that I was trying to get to not freaking whatever. And like I said, I put up a video about that on my YouTube channel or our YouTube channel, where it's like just explaining more about the wholesaling deal. Now for episode playback, I want to start off with I talked to Jordan last week because I had talked about it with Melissa, where we had said, or I talked about it on the podcast. Let me drink some water. First of all, that's how I drink water. Don't shame me. So I had said before that one of my toxic traits is being too helpful. I overextend myself, right? And then when I do that, it makes other people want to. One, it makes them look at me as above them, which is bad. Because then they look at me in a light that I don't want to be in. So then it just reinforces the stereotype that I don't want. So now I'm annoyed with them when they look at me like that, and it's just bad. It's for overextending. That's what happens when you try to help too much people who don't want to be helped. So I had a phone call with a friend about his music, and Melissa felt like, I feel like you were doing your thing again. I'm like, well, I don't know if I felt like that. She's like, yeah, this and that. I kind of see how. She's like, I heard some stuff. And I'm like, okay. I can see how it's possible that I may have overextended myself. So I decided to call him and ask him, like, yo, just curious, like, how do you feel about our last conversation? Do you feel like I was offering too much advice on your music? Do you feel like it was a productive conversation? Do you feel like we got anything out of it? Do you feel like I was biased critiquing your music? Like, what do you think about it? He was like, no, he's like, that's Donna, we debate all the time and argue like it's not. I don't really. That's nothing. I'm like, all right, because like I said, I wasn't. I didn't originally feel like that, but when it was pointed out to me, I'm like, okay, I can see how maybe that's the case. But he's like, no, I didn't feel like that. He was like, look, you gave me some tips. Like, I'm not gonna take your tips as law or your critique as law, but I'm gonna put it and listen to it. I'm like, I bet. And like I said, for me personally, what I told him is that if I critique you or critique somebody, right, what I want it to be is where it's on like a sliding scale situation where one of my critiques is bundled with 10 other critiques, and those 10 critiques add up to okay, maybe I should change what I'm thinking. I don't want it to be like, yo, bro, I think you should change your album cover, and then I get mad when you don't change it after I said it. It's not like that. I just want to be able to say, well, if you're in the studio thinking about it, or if you're at home thinking about something, you're like, damn, I can name 8 people that told me this thing. And for me personally, one of the things about that music that I didn't like, one of the verses at the end of it, I feel like he started off the verse really well, and then he kind of at the end of it, he just kind of let it go. Like he didn't cross the finish line. He just kind of like, all right, he didn't run through the finish line. He just left it alone, left it at that. And I'm like, yeah, you could have really killed it if you just kept going. So that's something that I said. And now if he said he felt the same way, he said he sees it, he understands that. But he's like, I'm not gonna go back and change it, which I don't expect him to do. He's like, yo, I get that, right? So it's now, if I said that, he felt like that, somebody else said that, maybe his mom, his sister, a girlfriend, his brother, his friend. If we all say it, it's like, all right, well, maybe it's something he can consider. That's how I look at my critiques when I give them. So like I said, there was that. He said the convo was not. We didn't really get any actionable steps out of it. So I'm glad that I called him back so we can actually move forward with some productive things to do. As far as like payment goes and what the scope of work looks like going forward. So that was that part of the episode playback. And what else did I see last week? Okay. The rich slave, poor slave thing, right? Actually, I'm gonna save that towards the end a little bit. No, we'll talk about it now. So this is one thing I talked about when I say rich slave, poor slave, right? An example is YouTube. And one reason I really want to talk about it, which I've kind of been tentative doing recently, is I feel like when I will think about something, I'm like, damn, how will this be viewed by YouTube or things or people like that, or the people I think are watching it, right? And I don't mean like the actual listener, I mean the people that actually run things. Will they be upset about what I'm saying? And I've noticed that, you know what, I can't think about that. I have to just say what I'm thinking, and whatever happens. Because I was using examples of like traders last week, and that's not what the thought I had when I was doing it. When I actually came up with the thought, I was thinking about YouTube specifically. So I think that YouTube is I don't want to call it a form of slavery, but I want to say that the rich slave, poor slave situation, I want to use them as an example. So when you're on YouTube, right, there are a lot of things that you have to do to more or less have good content, or there are a lot of things that they give you to do to have good content, right? Some of those things are, they want you to have a thumbnail. Okay, that means that the photo that you see on YouTube, they want you to have a good one, which usually means it has to be edited or it has to be staged or planned, right? That's number one. Then they want you to have a description about the video, right? Then they want, no, that means a title. Then they want you to 100 characters or less. And then they want you to have a description which describes the video. You would put your Instagram in here. You'd put all your other handles in there. You'd have like a paragraph about the actual video. Some people actually transcribe the video and put that in there. All right. Then they want you to put tags on the video, because the algorithm works like Google or any other algorithm. You put in a tag. Let's say your video is about basketball. You'd put in LeBron James. You'd put in basketball. You'd put in NBA. So people who search those terms may possibly see your video, right? But then it comes more, they also have strategic ways about doing it. So you may have like, okay, you have to put NBA, ESPN, because that gets more views than just NBA. You have to put NBA and WNBA because that gets more views than just NBA. But you don't want to put NBA ABC because ABC is going through something right now. And if somebody clicks on the video and it's not about what ABC is going through right now, they're going to demote your video in terms of people that watch it. So these are all the things that as a YouTuber, you need to take into account. So as you're making a YouTube video, right, you're thinking about all these different things. You're like, okay, I got it. And mind you, this is not even including actual content. This is just after you post the content. This is just things. This is just like the menial labor of posting the content. And this is why I say as far as slavery goes, because I think that we think of engagement on platforms, and I learned this from the Tristan Harris interview with Joe Rogan. We think of engagement on a platform as people that comment, people that like, people that watch it and stuff like that, right? But also engagement comes from how often you yourself are on there. How much videos are you posting? How much times are you commenting? How much time are you spending writing descriptions? How much time are you spending writing tags? How much time are you spending trying to come up with a cool caption and post on there? How many times do you check? Like, those things also go into engagement, but we don't think about that because we're like, okay, once I put it up, then people will watch me and then I'll engage with them. But as long as somebody is engaging with the platform, that's what they want. So one of the metrics that the person used, Tristan Harris, in the interview with Joe Rogan, and this is I never even thought about this. He was saying that one reason that TikTok is so valuable is because you are able to build a mass following very fast. And that is very beneficial to investors because it just shows how well people can connect. And the easier you can build a mass following, the easier it is to market to them, the easier it is you have more people to engage on your website, the easier it is to have more users on your platform. You can have 100 million users in a month because everybody's getting a huge following very quickly. So I never thought about that. But from what I know about TikTok, the people that do the best on TikTok make like 8 videos a day. Like they're making videos, multiple videos every day. And when TikTok first came out, Melissa wanted to make a TikTok, and this is like it was like on the up and up of becoming what it is now, but it had already kind of past the level of, oh, this is like, it passed the what the fuck is a TikTok thing. It passed that level, but it was still on a level of, can you make money on this? Like, is there any? I don't think nobody's making money on this. It was at that level, right? So we were watching videos back then about people who are making money on TikTok and what they have to do. And of course, which I'm not surprised, they have a whole studio. And mind you, like I said, these videos are 15 seconds or up to a minute, I think. And they're making these elaborate videos. They have all of this studio work. They have all these lights in their house. They get up and they make videos for 8-9 hours a day. And then they post 4 videos every day. And you just like, this don't sound like something that you want to do on a regular basis. It doesn't sound like that. And I'm like I said, the last podcast where it sounds like a form of mental slavery. You're like, damn, I gotta like do mad stuff just to get these views and get, these followers and things like that. And that's one of the things that I think people never consider when it comes to social media is how much. And this is, like I said, this is from the other side. Most people look at social media from the consumer standpoint, and most people don't look at it from the producer standpoint. But both people are slaves to the actual platform itself, because either you're on this spending hours and hours and hours watching the content that I post. I'm spending hours and hours and hours making the content to post. I get 20. I get what? I think YouTube gives me like 15%, and they keep 85%. It's some crazy number like that of all the ad revenue. So they will make hundreds of millions, billions of dollars, and I will make pennies to that, less than pennies to that. So, like I said, who's really winning in this? Yeah, you get a little chunk of the change, but for the amount of work that you're putting in, it's like you're still a slave to that platform. You're making videos all the time for them. You're making videos for them all the time. You're worrying about the follow, and this is you're worrying about the followers, you're worrying about the subscribers, you're worrying about the comments. And another thing too with the videos is that, and I don't do this. I don't do it now. Maybe I'll pay somebody in the future to do it if they want to, but I see that, or I used to see in videos I would watch, that people will go back and regularly change their captions and their comments, not their comments, their captions, their descriptions, their titles, and their tags based off what's trending at that time. Now, to me, that's insane because I post too many videos to be like, let's go back on 2 years ago to change one of the captions so that, you know, people look at it. Now, that's too much. For somebody have to think about that regularly to think, okay, I need the iPhone is trending right now. It's iPhone 12. So if I go back and add iPhone 12 hashtags to my old video instead of iPhone 8, then people will see it. If I change the thumbnail to iPhone 8 versus iPhone 12, and then I put in the description or in the title, my new iPhone versus my old iPhone, what do you guys think? And it's like, you're a slave to that thing. You can't function out without that. And I don't want to be at that point, which is why we make the content that we do. The content that we make is we just live our life and we post that. But like I say all the time, if my life is boring, my content will be boring. That's just what it is. So that kind of pushed us to have content that is interesting, which means our life itself has to be interesting to have content to post. The only problem with that is, as far as, like I said, the menial part of it, which is the descriptions, the making the thumbnails, the editing, all of those things. I want to outsource at some point to somebody else to do. Because like I said, my main point is to just have it where I wake up, post some shit that I did that day, and I go about my day, and I make money off of that passively that day and the days in the future. That's the plan that I have for the YouTube channel. One thing I learned also with last week is about punchlines, I guess. And now another thing people don't realize too. 1 second, I need to drink some water. That shit hurts like crazy. Hello. Okay. So I think when people don't realize that when you watch stand-up comedy, people are not just talking. Like, it's not like I'm going to get up here and just talk. They have meticulously picked out and planned each word that they say to you. They've picked out how long they spend on saying a word. They've picked out the inflection of the word. They've picked out the pause between one sentence and the next sentence. They picked out how fast they say it. They picked out their reaction, their facial expression to them saying it. Like, if you watch a comedy stand-up, there's so much going on that you can't even see. They practice that hundreds of times. And it comes to you and you look at it and go, oh, okay, that's cool. That was fun. That was funny. But it got to a point that they know when to say a thing that'll make you laugh because they've planned it so well. And one thing I noticed for me personally that I do is, and I don't want to call it punchlines because I'm not trying to really be funny, but in terms of just, I think, communicating in terms of, I guess, public speaking, right? I think that they're also another thing too. There are different parts of a joke when you're talking to somebody, right? Now, some of them might be the setup. Then you have the punchline, right? I think there's a third part, but I forgot what it is. But for me, the main part of what I'm trying to say, what somebody would be trying to say, is the punchline. But what I will do is I will rush that part very quickly. But that's because I speak very fast. But I have to understand that when I'm saying something, if whatever I'm about to say is important, that's when I should slow down. Like I just did right there. It's, you take that pause and then you go, yeah, that's when I should slow down. But for me, I'm letting it all flow at one pace. And it has to be certain kinds of pacing. Even when you're doing comedy stand-up, when you're doing anything, there should be a pace to it. And watching last week's episode, I'm like, okay, I can see how my pacing is off when I'm saying things. not necessarily for a punchline, but for a main part of what I'm trying to say. Sometimes if I'm trying to say a joke or make a joke, same thing will happen where I'm like, okay, I need to just pause a little bit and then say it as its own sentence, because that's what makes certain things funny. It's segments to the joke. It's the intro, the setup, whatever the storyline might be, and then boom, the punchline. But you don't want to say the story part you don't want to mesh the story part with the punchline, because the person doesn't actually have the setup for the punchline. It's almost similar to basketball now I think about it, which is funny. That's actually funny. Now I'm going to do that when I play basketball. Now I'm going to remember that. So, a basketball reference, right? It's something called the setup when you're playing basketball, when you're dribbling the ball, okay? That's when you see somebody come up the court and they're doing moves. They're putting the ball between their legs. They're putting it behind their back. They're doing a little bit of moves, right? It's a setup. It's all a setup for the actual crossover to get past you, okay? Now, somebody watching a game may think that every time they cross the ball over from one hand to the other, it's a crossover. Technically, by law and definition, it is. But those are not the ones that's going to actually get you to the basket. It's that final, 1-2 that gets you to the basket. And at the end of the day, you only need one crossover to get to the basket. You don't need four. There's only one change of direction from one hand to the other, or a fake from one hand to the other hand that gets you to the basket, right? So it's very similar to that. If I'm talking, like, I don't want to come down the court and be just dribble between my leg. It's like, well, the defender is not going to ever have time to stop and go, okay, which way is he going? Because I'm just dribbling all over the place. But if I come down the court and I set it up like I'm going to go right, and then I come back left, that's how I get you. Same thing with comedy. If I'm saying something, right, and I'm pacing it, I'm talking real slow, I'm like, okay, I went down the street and then I turned left and boom, there was a car. You're like, oh shit, there was a car. What the fuck? But it comes down to how I'm pacing. If I said it again, like, I went on the street, there was a car, and then boom, you're like, wait, what? What happened? You lost me there. I don't know what happened. It's like, yeah, because I didn't pace it properly. So like I said, I learned that from watching last week's episode. So I'm going to try and work on doing that too. Just having pacing when it comes to saying the last part of, I guess, a statement I'm trying to make. Let's see.
Did you know you could video chat on Tinder now?
Are you serious?
You have to be interested, and the other person also has to be interested.
So if we match with each other?
Once you match, you don't have to be interested in video chat.
Oh Lord, that's funny. Yeah, I guess I'm like, girls have mad matches. That's interesting. Wow. Yeah, I haven't been on Tinder in a while, so it's a rough place on Tinder, man. I'm telling y'all too. If y'all listen to this, only use Tinder if you're trying to run game on girls. Do not use Tinder if you're trying to find love. It doesn't work. I don't care what nobody says. It's a lie. The only people who are on there are crazy people. Like the crazy, insecure people are on there. Guys and girls trying to find love. Well, not love. Think they're trying to find love and they don't. It don't work out. Every situation I've ever heard of anybody. Think about this, right? They try and push this narrative of how great it is to be on social media. But I don't know. I don't feel like social media, as far as Instagram goes, is the same as Tinder. I feel like you go on Tinder to look for your love of your life or some pussy. I feel like if you're on Instagram, you kind of doing something, and somebody might come up and be like, hey, I think you're cute. I like what you're posting. Let's hang out. But yeah, I'm telling you, if anybody, listen, I know me personally. Okay. I have a lot of crazy ass stories on Tinder, like just ridiculous stuff that happens between me, my other friends, of things we just hear, things we just go through, things that we've seen on Tinder. It's crazy. It's ridiculous. So I already know also that anybody that I've tried to be in a relationship with on Tinder doesn't work out. Do you know who did work? Melissa. You see that pause right there? See how I did that? Boom. I'm killing him. But that's what I'm saying. It's Melissa. Like, we met at a Starbucks. We just met outside. Like, we met in real life and we're still together. I'm pretty sure those work out way more than ones you try and meet on Tinder. Don't do it. Okay. If you want to just go out there, just have fun and fuck, sure. Do not try and find the love of your life on Tinder. Don't do it. Okay. Oh yeah. So even before in the what was life update, right? I talked about being able to be in touch with how you're actually feeling. Like, and when I say the feeling, I mean, okay, when you get anxious, what does your body feel like? Does it feel like somebody touching your fingers? Does it feel like somebody is running a nail on your back? Does it feel like you have to take a shit? Like, what happens to your body when you have a particular feeling, right? You need to be able to identify your specific feeling that you go through when you have are feeling something. So if you're angry, does your stomach start to hurt? Does your eye start twitching? You have to know these things, because when you identify them, then you can say, okay, I know that something, right? I'm upset right now. I don't know why, but something is causing me to be upset. I need to understand what that is, right? So one thing I was thinking about recently is that when it comes to lifestyle in the future and life that you want to live, right? You should not plan your life around how you want to live in the future. You shouldn't plan like, oh, I want to have 5 cars, and I want to have a big ass house, and I want to have bitches, and do girls want dick? Is that what y'all say? Y'all don't say that, right? Oh, right. I want to have a man. You don't say these things, right? That's not what you say. What you need to say is, I want to feel like this. I want to feel happy. I want to feel loved. I want to feel excitement. These are things that you say to yourself. And then you go from there. You go, what makes me excited? What makes me feel loved? What makes me feel happy? And then you go, I love butterflies. Like, I love butterflies. That makes me feel happy. So I'm going to make sure that my life in the future has butterflies in it. That's how you plan your life. And if you want to get a big ass butterfly net in your house, or not a net, like a butterfly house in the backyard, whatever the case might be, that's what you build your life around. So you find an apartment or a house that says you can build a butterfly house in the backyard. That's what you're supposed to do. That's how you should build your life. And I feel like a lot of times people end up unhappy because they're trying to build a lifestyle as opposed to like building the lifestyle based off of how they feel as opposed to what they think that they want. So like I said, identify the feeling that you have, build your life around the things that make you feel good. And another thing, this is probably the last part of the episode, playback. So when it comes to what is that thing called? When it comes to America, we'll go with America, right? I don't know what you guys think it is, the biggest export when it comes to, what we make our money off of, right? And one thing they talked about in the podcast with Joe Rogan, which I've heard before too, is that if you're not paying for something, and something is free, then you're the product, right? So Google is free because we're the product. We make the money, right, for them. So one thing I was thinking about with America, right, and people love to bring up with the pipeline, the what is it, the jail pipeline? What is it called? Do you know? The pipeline to jail for black people. There's a name for it. But people love using that as the new slavery, right? And yes, I do think that the school to prison pipeline, right? People love to say, "Oh, okay, well, it's happening," right? And yes, I do think it's happening. I do think there's some system in place that is having black kids end up in, or kids of color, but black kids end up in prison, because there's no reason that the population of the country should be like 85% white or whatever it is, and then the jails are like 85% black. That's not, like, it doesn't even make sense. Like, that's insane. That the numbers should somewhat be similar to reflect what is happening in jail. As also, another thing about that is, if the crimes committed are still by white people, and there's a lot of crimes committed by the white people, there should still be more white people in jail. It shouldn't be there's more white people in the country. 1, 2, there are more white people committing crimes than black people. And then 3, somehow there are more black people in jail than white people. How does that happen? How is that? It doesn't make any sense. So that's you want to look into that, whatever. Sure. But I'm bringing that up because I think that free labor is America's biggest export. Okay. So we went from slavery before, where we were as big as we were because we had all that free labor of people building cotton or making cotton back in the day. And that's how we got to become a powerhouse that we are now, by having people being paid pennies on a dollar. That's how we were able to become this powerhouse, right? And now if you think about it, a lot of our exports, a lot of our money comes from the biggest tech companies that we have, which are like Facebook, Google. I don't really know if Apple does that, because Apple wouldn't really be considered that, because Apple is able to, they have products that they sell, but there's all the social media platforms. All the biggest ones are from us. They don't run the world, but they have a very big influence over the world. And they're from here. They're from America, right? And that's because they get their labor for free. We voluntarily choose to make them money. Like they don't ask anything for us. They're like, here's a platform. Come on here and make us money. And I think it's just funny because that just seems to be, maybe it's a universal thing, but it definitely seems to be how America does it. We need to have things for free, and we will make money off of that. I don't even know if Russia has a social media I've never heard of Russia's like social media situation. I don't know what it is. So I don't know, Russia or Africa. They all probably use Instagram, Facebook, WhatsApp, Twitter. Like all the social medias that are big that I've ever heard of are here. The only ones that aren't are the ones that are in China, and that's because they don't fuck with the ones that we have here. And I think that's so crazy. I think that's interesting. So yeah, what do you think about that? Like, well, I'm curious what people think about the export being free labor of social media on here, because I don't think Amazon has free labor actually. Well, see, this is something I'm gonna look into, because a new thing that's happening with us is this new gig economy where nobody's actually an employee. So you kind of just work per job. And would that be considered an indentured servant? Why do you say no?
Because an indentured servant, it's like you have a debt and you're trying to work off the debt that you have. So,
like college?
But you're not working for the college to pay off the debt that you have. Because and I feel like an indentured servant, I'd have to look it up just to be sure, but I'm pretty sure it's kind of like if, let's say I loaned you, let's say, okay, let's use college as the example. You get a grant for $50K for your education,
mm-hmm.
and then afterwards you would have to work off the money that they gave you at the college, but you're not working for the college to make the money.
But why would they give me a loan? Why would they give me a loan if I'm an indentured servant? Like, why would they? How does that work? Because I'm trying to understand, like,
because indentured servants were
slaves before, right?
Okay, because a lot of people came to America as indentured servants, as their way of becoming free people. And they were only slaves, quote unquote slaves, for a certain amount of time. So they were buying their freedom.
Okay.
Yeah, that's how.
Oh, so they were working to buy off their freedom. Mm-hmm. So that was the debt that they owed, was the imaginary debt of how much it was to buy them.
Yeah, sure. I mean, a lot of them came from another country to here
to
become indentured, because indentured servants were before slaves.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Indentured servants were before slaves. There were white people as well.
Facts.
So when they came over here, for whatever reason, they had to leave their country.
Mm-hmm.
They work here for like a period of time, 5 years, 10 years, something like that. And then after that time period, then they're free people. They're fine. Or some people, they would get here, and because they're white like everybody else, they could just run away, and nobody would know the difference, because you can't really tell the difference.
Yeah.
That's part of the reason, quote unquote, that we have slaves as well, that were African, because they look so different than the white people. So you can tell, you can look and know.
Yeah.
You are a slave. So.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, because like I said earlier, I feel like it's really a situation where the game is to get people to work for you for free. How much? To pay you as little as possible. And I can't pay you, it's funny, I can't pay you less than $0. And I think that's funny, because I definitely can. Because you can pay me to work for me. And I think that's crazy. Like, because if you owe money, you are paying interest on your money. So you are in debt to me, but you are also paying me to get out of the debt and working for me. You're working for me and paying me to get out of the debt. So I just think that, it's crazy. But I'm curious what other jobs are out there that in other countries. I'm going to do some research where it's like this social media thing. Why is it that all the social media platforms are in America? Like, why isn't there like a UK platform that we all use here? Do you know of any? Like, I feel like Zoom, all of them is here. All of them shits. All of them is here. That's crazy. Nah, there gotta be other ones. I'm gonna Google this real quick. I'm gonna look up big foreign social media. They're probably all gonna be in freaking. They might be in India too. They're gonna all be in China.
I know China has WeChat.
Yeah, I've heard of that one. Top foreign. What?
No, they probably definitely exist. It's just not as big.
Well, VK has 100 million, bruh. That's funny. So WeChat is in China. It has 300 million monthly active users. VK is in Russia with over 100 million monthly active users. It's called.
How many monthly active users does Facebook have?
Billion, probably. Some crazy number like that. Yeah, I probably. And it says that it looks very similar to Facebook.
That doesn't compare. And then if it's going to look similar to Facebook, why not just use Facebook?
They're going to get that money. We want the money. We don't want to give it to y'all. Then in Japan, you have Line.
Yeah, I've heard of Line. Wait, is it green?
They didn't show it. Let me see.
Because Line is Webtoon.
So, yeah, probably. Doesn't say, just Line. It's like, yeah, it says gaming type of situation. They boast over 300 million users and 50 million in Japan alone. Yeah, Spain has one. There's only one. Spain has one, which is Tunti. Okay, that's the Spanish Facebook. Okay, I never even heard this. Cool. You have another. That's interesting. Okay, so those are 6 that I just came across right now. I'm gonna do one more little look and see what I come across. But I can't pronounce these shits. All right, there's another. Either 8 more. Oh, well, Tencent, well, they own them, but Qzone and QQ. What is this? WeChat, which you said you've heard of. Weibo, Douyin. It's owned by ByteDance. Okay. This one has 400 million monthly active users. This is Koyushu. Started as a GIF sharing site. And yeah, so that, yeah, So that's interesting. That's a cool thing to know. I don't have Donovan's questions. It's harder to come up with Donovan's questions when I don't have time to think about stuff like that, if that makes sense. I think it's easier when I'm on my bike, but I've been kind of working on getting my first deal with wholesaling. So it's kind of hard to sit down and think about philosophical questions. So hopefully next week I have some time to think about it. And we will, come back with some of that fire. Today's topic, we have one topic: security versus excitement, and which one is more important to women? Okay, what's the time we have right now?
Hour 8 minutes.
Okay, doing pretty good. So this topic came up a couple weeks ago, because I was trying to figure out what's more important to women, and I asked my girlfriend, and you had told me which one. Do you remember? Which one do you feel now?
When you say important, like, what you mean?
If you can only have one of them.
If I can only have one?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, when you say if I only can have one, I think I said excitement.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure I said excitement because I think that I remember security isn't something that I was necessarily looking at the other person for.
Mm-hmm.
I was
Mm-hmm.
expecting myself to build a lifestyle where I can be secure myself.
Yes, I remember that. Yeah, and this question.
It's kind of backwards to where we're at now.
Oh, that's funny. So you want excitement? That's what you want.
No, I don't mean it like that. I mean like, I think this is exciting.
Oh, I mean, listen. Like I said, I have.
But I'm not secure. If that makes sense.
That's why it's exciting.
What?
That's why it's exciting. That's why you. That's what I'm saying. That's why. Who? See, getting deep into it, right? So it's exciting to not be safe, to not know what's gonna happen. That's excitement. If we had $100,000, we get paid every day, 100 grand. It's like, it's not gonna. We'd have to find things to make it exciting at that point. 'Cause everything is just going well. Everything is going the way we want it to go. So, this question, like I said, this is a question more so for. I mean, it could be for women. It's probably for women. It's definitely a question for women. Which one do you prefer in your relationship, to have more security or more excitement? Melissa said that she would prefer to have more excitement because before we got together, because she would provide her own security in terms of financial security, and lifestyle and life security. Now, for me personally, if I had to, I think that. Which one do I think a girl won't cheat on you for? Excitement, for sure. I think if you can keep your girlfriend excited, camera died. Yeah, it's fine, but you know, it is what it is. We still rocking. So I was asking which one would be more, which one is less likely to get you cheated on? And I said excitement, because a girl at the end of the day, like I said before in previous episodes, loves toxicity. It's in their core. Okay. Now, I don't know if they were born like that. You know, studies say that they were, but I would like to believe that they are not, and that they've just been jaded so much that they now prefer toxicity. But I definitely think that when it comes to security versus excitement, if you had to choose one, excitement would be better. Now that I think about it, yeah. Yeah.
Do you have to be toxic to prefer excitement?
Question. Do you have to be toxic to prefer excitement? So, one thing I was going to say before Melissa asked me that question is that I think that it also depends on how old the woman is, I was going to say. But I also think it depends more on where she is at in her life, more than how old she is. Because I think a person who is in a secure place in their life wants excitement, because they already have security. And I don't think you have to be toxic. What?
Wait, you said that a person that's in an insecure place.
Secure.
That's in a secure.
Yeah, in a
okay.
secure.
I thought you said they're insecure
No.
because they have security.
No. They're in a secure place in their life, and they want excitement, which I think tends to happen with older women. They have money, they have their life, they have their job, they have a house to live in, they have food, things like that, they have a car. So they're looking for somebody to make them feel excited. But I really feel, this is what I think. Okay. Can you ask me a question one more time that you had?
Do you have to be toxic in order to want excitement?
I think the answer is no. You do not have to be toxic in order to want excitement. I think the toxic woman prefers, I was going to say, enjoys excitement with no security.
Ooh. I can see that. Everything just exciting.
Yeah, everything. All the time.
Stability.
Right. No stability. Just craziness all over the place. We don't have no stability. We don't have no shape of what the plan is. We're just every day, all the time. I'm looking for a guy that makes me just want to be doing crazy stuff. I'm looking to always have those crazy ups and downs of where we're fighting, where we're yelling, where we're getting lost, where we're just everything is just always going wrong. We're just looking for crazy things. I think that would be a toxic person. I'd be a toxic woman for that. But one thing I was going to say earlier too with the relationship that I have with my beautiful girlfriend over here is that I have orchestrated a relationship where I have both of these things in there. You'd have to have both as a person, okay? In a relationship, as a guy, you have to have security and you have to have excitement, okay? The excitement that me and Melissa have currently is that we might get evicted. Very exciting, okay? Looking for deals to get money. If we get a deal, then boom, oh my God, we got money. Oh my God, this is great, right? And then we're going to spend all the money and then we're going to have to be hustling again. And then we're going to be like, oh shit, we back in that excitement zone. What's going to happen next? You know, we have that up. And then you have the, oh shit, wait, what are we going to do now? What happens next, right? But I made sure that all of the excitement that we have is encapsulated within a shield of security, because I think that security is more important than excitement if you don't want your girl to cheat on you. Is that true? I don't think it's a black and white thing. I think you obviously have to have both. I'm trying to decide which one is more important, because we can have security, which is what, somebody I know has, but they always looking for somebody else. They're always looking for somebody to excite them. Girls need to have that feeling of, oh my God, this is fun. This is new. This is invigorating. What are we going to do next? They need to have that. And if you're not planning it, then you need to plan for it. You'll know if she'll be talking to you like, I wish we could, can we, I wouldn't mind. Every day everything is just great every day. Make chicken, and then I come home, and then there's food, and then I go to work, and I come back home, and you're still here, and this is the same thing every day, right? So that's security. It's nothing going to change here. It's going to be the same shit every single day. If your life is set up like that, you need to add some security. Like I said before, scare your woman. When she come in the house, like hit her with a water balloon, some shit. I don't know. Whatever she would get her to, whatever would get her to be, come home with water guns. Like I said, shoot her with a water gun or spray her with a water bottle. It don't matter. Whatever you want to do, just make sure you get her hair wet if she's a black woman. And you want to see some excitement? You want to see some excitement?
Why are you trying to get all your fellow male friends killed?
Excitement. But like I said, you have to have security, because now you have to be able to pay for her hair to get done. Now you got to pay for that shit. You got to pay for her to do her hair now. That's what I'm saying. You got to be able to have that security, to have the excitement, and still have everything go well once you have that excitement happen, right? Plan these things out. I personally, we have this apartment. I am a very intelligent individual. So that's a form of security. I have resources that provide us to be able to have the lifestyle that we have right now, whether it be me working or my sister who has been able to help us. There's different resources. You have to be able to have these things in place so that your girlfriend feels secure, right? Now, once you have that foundation, I don't have a car though. I know that's a big thing over here. Once I get a car though, I'm missing that one piece of security. Once I finally get a car, Melissa will never, ever talk to a guy again once I have a car. Oh, I'm telling you, it's in the Jamaican rule book. A woman cannot talk to anybody else if you have a car. Does it have to be a nice car? Can it be like a regular car? How does it work? I don't know how the rules in Jamaica. Like, can it be like a Toyota Camry or? I think it has to be. I think if it's a nice car, I think that's when they don't do nothing. But if it's a whack car, they will definitely cheat on you in your whack car. So what was I gonna say? Oh right. So like I said, I plan to make sure that I have the security first, and then the excitement is entrenched in that. So I feel like, do you feel secure, Melissa?
I have short-term security.
Okay. Explain, elaborate.
Well, with the moratorium in place,
Mm-hmm.
especially, I do not feel like we're gonna get evicted or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
We're physically removed from our apartment within the next. Damn, it's November now.
2 months.
Shit. Damn, I lost a bit of security.
You lost 1 month of security.
It was October before, and now it's November, so the security that I had just went down a little bit.
Uh-huh.
But I I do feel like, due to what I've seen recently, like with the COVID climate not changing, I'm assuming that when January comes, they're gonna prolong the moratorium, which would then, put the security up a little bit higher.
Okay.
So I honestly feel like that's the main thing that's very unstable right now. No, it's not.
What's that the thing?
It's just because it's the whole eviction situation. It's the wholesaling situation where it's like, okay, I invested $1,000 into this. Is this gonna work out? I don't know. If it does work out, it's a huge payoff. If it doesn't work out, it's not really a big loss. But it's like, what the fuck do we do then? So do I have to get a job? Do you have to get a job? It's like, just a lot of questions. Are we gonna do drop shipping next? Like, what's gonna happen? Like, and then YouTube. Though I feel like for the amount of energy, we have 200 videos.
We do.
Not 200 throwaway videos, not 200 videos that we didn't edit or anything like that. We have 200 videos that has had hours of time put into every single video, and we are not monetized yet. So I feel like once the monetization happens and that income comes in, I'd be very, very happy. But that's just another thing too, where it's like, if all the ducks was lined up, I'd be very secure.
Okay. I forgot the question, but I think it was like, how do you feel about security? I forgot what the question was.
How do I feel?
I forgot the question.
How secure do I feel? Yes, I'm not very secure. I feel like I have. Oh, you asked me what I meant by short-term security.
Okay.
And it's not being evicted anytime soon. That is my short-term security.
Okay. So this is how I look at it, right? Melissa's life doesn't really change in the next 2 months, more or less, right? So I view that as security. Now, the excitement part is always to have excitement in a relationship. It has to always be something new that's happening, right? So as you heard her talk about the wholesaling thing, it's exciting because it's dangerous. It's like, oh my goodness, I might have spent this money and might go broke. We might not get a deal. We might get evicted. We might, have to get a regular job or do wholesale or drop shipping, which I think is fucking ridiculous. But we might have to do those things. And that is the excitement part of it. Excitement is not.
Have to be a stripper.
Yeah, we might have to get her a YouTube channel. She might have to go to stripper boot camp and learn how to, how to shake ass. So that's the excitement part. It's not knowing what's going to come next. And like I said, even once we get the deal, our first couple of deals, even once we get a better apartment, there's going to be something new. There's going to be a new form of excitement where it's going to be like, okay, shit. Fuck. We gotta figure out how to get to the next stage. We gotta figure out how to get to the next stage and the next stage. And it's going to be the same thing over and over again. I do think that the secure, because I feel like it would be worse if there were like people coming to the house all the time telling us we're gonna get evicted. I feel like that would make it a lot worse.
Bro, that shit used to happen all the time before.
They'd be like,
$5.
You right. You ain't pay $7. You're like, what the fuck are you talking? You pay it right now? I'm like, fam, but you know what time it is? You want me to pay you $7 at 8:00 in the morning? Can you come back later or text me about this? So yeah, I think it's very important to have security in your relationship and to also have excitement. Which one is more important? I got it. Which one would you go with first?
Definitely excitement.
Really? I was gonna say security. That's crazy. Wow.
Like I said.
That's crazy.
In what point in my life?
It doesn't. I mean, I just asked whatever. Like I said, you just point right now.
Because when you ask me these questions, the time frame that comes to mind is me working at Starbucks, or me having my own money, or me having my own kind of life plan and set. And I think that, because I'm trying to think, because I was talking to someone when I met you.
Yeah.
And that was like a secure situation where it's like, okay, I know that I can go to this place at this time and blah, 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 blah.
Okay. You talking about the person?
Huh?
Talking about the person or the place that you're working at?
The person.
Okay.
Like, that was a very secure situation. I don't know what's going to happen with you.
Is that really secure?
What do you mean?
Why do you consider that a secure situation?
Because over there. I know that if I need money or something like that, they would send it to me. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's like a secure situation in terms of like I don't know. Yeah, because I didn't live with them. Like there's
Mm-hmm.
only so close you could be to a person, not living with them. So I feel like in that sense, it was a very secure situation.
So I'm confused by this because when I hear Melissa say it was a secure situation, I feel like she was saying that she was secure in that situation because they were not attached to each other. Is that what you're saying? That's what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
Because it's like I feel like you're saying that.
Are you saying that someone pulls up and like I have all the money, I have everything?
In terms of what?
Like as what type of security I guess are they bringing to me?
It just depends on how you interpret the question. It's whatever you feel like it's because I'm asking somebody else something different. However you interpret that. And like I said, just asking those two words, which one to you do you want more? And like I said, and it's funny, I'm a guy. Guys more so about security, we're less about excitement. So I'm like, which one would you think is more important? And you said excitement. I'm like, I think it's definitely security would be first and excitement second. You said excitement first, security second.
Yeah, because when I think back to, I don't think you maybe. Oh, you know what it is? Because what you did, dating me,
Mm-hmm.
you were doing with everybody else. So that wasn't exciting to you. So, but going to an escape room and then a Thai food place and then flying to Chicago out of nowhere and all that stuff is very exciting.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of what came into my head.
Yeah, but those things couldn't happen without security.
But I'm not thinking of it in terms of how secure you are. I'm not thinking of.
But okay, here's what I mean by that. Because what happens if? I mean, yeah, it's one of those weird situations because I don't think you know security that goes into place for that to happen. So it's exciting to you because you don't have to worry about what it is to plan that.
That's what I'm saying. Cause I'm not. Cause like, yeah, you need to be secure to do those things.
Mm-hmm.
But while it's happening, or even thinking about it now, it's like in my head, I'm experiencing everything.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I don't see the security part. I don't see how much money you put into it, how much time it took to plan it, how everything went seamlessly or not seamlessly or this and that. I'm not seeing the secure part. In my head, it's like, wow, we did this, and we did that, and we did that. So it's all very exciting. But you do need to be secure. You need to be secure in order to.
Question. I think I was asking the question wrong. Which one is more important in a guy? I think that's the question that should be asked.
But the thing is, a guy can be secure and not exciting.
I know. That's the question.
Oh. I like I said, it's excitement.
So you'd rather the guy be exciting than secure?
Yeah. Remember, a lot of the guys that I dealt with, they were not the secure ones in the relationship. So that's not really something that I had in my mind as a thing. I think only one guy that I spoke to, and that was UPS, that was secure.
What about wash
windows?
No, one from Starbucks.
From Starbucks.
And wasn't the other ones in the nurse considered secure?
Yeah, but the thing is like.
Is he exciting also? I don't know.
We didn't do anything but go to. So it's like.
Very secure.
It's secure, but are we doing anything that's.
I think I'm seeing a trend here.
And not share this, like not be exciting with me, so, and that's kind of a problem I have with UPS because we never did anything.
I think I'm seeing because I'm in that same boat. Because now, and this is why I think it's funny because all the secure guys, I guess I'm kind of in the same boat because we don't do things as much. I mean, I don't know if I can say that.
I feel like we have our own kind of things that we find exciting.
Yeah, that's something like. That's what I'm like, and I don't know if it kind of counts as that. What time were we at before? Yeah, I was gonna say that I feel like it's funny because this is what the typical line is like. You can be exciting because you have nothing to do. So I wash windows had nothing to do. So you can just be spontaneous and do stuff because there's nothing. Security is a prison more or less of things you have to do. Like you have to be somebody. For you told call. Like it's almost like it's a structure. Security is a structure. That's what it is. And unstructured is fun because you don't know what could happen. So it's like, oh, we just.
And then if I'm secure, like I don't need you to be secure if I'm secure. If I have my job.
But this is my thing though. How does that work when you get older?
See, and that's the thing because I'm 23,
Mm-hmm.
and so I haven't gotten to that point yet where I need this, that, and that.
And would he still send you money?
Huh?
Would he still send you money if you needed it?
Who?
I wash windows.
That never happened.
Oh, so who sends you money?
UPS.
Oh.
UPS is more secure, but I pretty much stopped talking to UPS for I wash windows, and I spent all the money on alcohol and weed. We'd go outside and walk on the beach in the moonlight. It was outside during a thunderstorm and stuff like that. So that was more. I was sneaking out of my mom's house at 3:00 in the morning to go hang out at his house all for like a month straight. So it was a lot of excitement.
Yeah,
I was about to be supervisor at my job, so I paid for everything.
And you didn't care. You were fine doing that.
Yeah, I paid for my Uber to get there, paid for my Uber to get home. If we was hungry, I'd buy food. I'm not gonna expect from you what you can't give me. I know what I wanted, which was the excitement.
Is it possible? 2 questions. Is it possible they could have been your boyfriend?
Yeah.
Before I come to that, did you want him to be your boyfriend? Is the first question.
Yeah, I think, yeah.
Okay. Why didn't that happen?
Why didn't that happen?
Yes.
You came along.
Okay.
And then I think we kind of fell off of talking.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, a little bit. Me and I watched those before you came along, but you definitely came along.
Mm-hmm.
Like immediately after.
And
it was, and then like I said, we were both around the same age, if not the same age. So him not having a job at 23 is not really a red flag.
Well, whatever. 21.
Huh?
2021.
Oh shit! Yeah, 2021. So him not having a job isn't like a crucial red flag as long as he was working towards it, and he was working towards it. It's not like he never had a job before. He doesn't have any work experience. Like he still had potential. So it's just that at the time when I met him, he didn't have a job.
Oh, okay. So, okay. My conclusion for what I've seen right now is this. Main point. It depends on where the girl is at in her life. This is what I believe. If she wants a relationship with him, he has to be secure. That's what I think. I think that if Melissa had her own place and she was trying to have a relationship with him, she wouldn't like that. Same thing with my family member.
Yeah, I feel like
what?
I know a couple of females that kind of
don't mind it. Who?
Not don't mind, but they're in situations where they're more secure than the guy that they're with.
Like who?
It's a couple people.
You could. You don't have to say the name. You could just like mouth it to me. But that's the thing though. They're still secure.
Exactly themselves.
No, the guy.
I don't think they bring. I feel like the optimal relationship, honestly, is the guy being more secure than the female.
Oh, I agree, but I'm talking about no security. Like if you take I Wash Windows and make him 30 and he's the same person.
I feel like a lot of them are like that before they meet the female, and then the female kind of helps them to get to some level of security, but it's not more secure than them.
And you think that is better? No, not better.
I'm not saying that it's better. I'm just saying that I've seen it happen more than once.
Because I guess a lot of time, a lot of girls out here in that situation don't like it.
But they don't leave.
Because the secure guy doesn't come along. Like a secure and exciting guy doesn't come along. So, it's very interesting. So, like I said, it seems as though, I don't know, but the guy with her that you just mentioned, he makes money. Like he's secure. He has his own place, more or less. He has his own car. He has his own job. He's just not doing. He's fine. Okay. Yeah, like he has everything that he has all the stuff that he wants. He don't. Who? Okay.
We got that one. What's his name?
That one, she doesn't. She would leave him. She'd be looking for other people.
You think she would?
Yes, she'd be looking for them. Yes. I mean, only because it's been the time period that it has been, but she was actively looking for other people. Like actively going on dates with other people. So there's that one. See, I gotta think now. See, I might have to ask Melissa if she wants to some excitement from somebody else. I gotta find out because we say you have excitement. I don't know. We're gonna find out. Melissa, do you want excitement from somebody else? Do you feel like you need some excitement in your life? Does Melissa want to be more excited?
My pigtails and my Papa John's is exciting enough for me, and my Talenti ice cream with the salted caramel. That is all that.
Melissa is an old woman. She said pizza, ice cream, and pigtails. The food make her excited. So that wraps it up for episode 33. I'm definitely going to I'm curious about this some more. I'm gonna keep thinking about this one. This one is an interesting one. Yeah, this is a good conversation to have. I'm gonna definitely keep thinking about this one. So you already know the Bamboo Project _ podcast. We are accepting DMs for consultations. And if you have a topic you want us to discuss or something that we said that you want to dig deeper into, DM that topic to the Instagram page, the Bamboo Project _ podcast. We are also welcoming guests. We shoot between 10 and 12 on Tuesdays. So if you can get here by car, pull up. Or if you're outside the country or really far away, I will consider doing a virtual situation once we kind of figure out the logistics to it. And if you have not already, go check out our social medias. Mine is DonivanGray, DonivanGray, and my beautiful girlfriend's is AnetaBurn, AnetaBurn. We have multiple different projects. We have the food project, we have the clothing project, we have the music project, we have the fitness project, we have the sports project, and we have the Bamboo Project podcast. Bamboo Project out.
I like that conversation.
It was good.